starting coming at you with another game of Diablo 2 Resurrected. Probably a shorter one today. We're going to play some normal cows. We're going to go to the secret cow level. We're going to have a party. Corrupted tremors and the endurance of hate. You know, alternately, we could pursue torment things, but, I mean, juiced up Mephisto loot, I mean, interesting, sure, but our build is not super great at killing Mephi and hasn't gotten better since we did it. Although, after we do the cow level, maybe we'll pursue it. And that reminds me, we're looking for the portal here. And we want a 4-socket pole arm, preferably like an exceptional one that did a bunch of damage, but you know, we'll see what we can get. But if we had the runes, we're of the level now when we could get some very, very great rune words to help us out. And I can't decide if I want to get like a Thorns aura or not, because that could be fun. But if we do that, we have to trade a bunch of skills for it. I don't know what's right. But I kind of think maybe doing Thorns could be fun. Because we're not getting survivability out of the shield. The real thing is that Thorns, you get it, it's like a missile weapon, which takes up both slots, and the rune word, it doesn't give you any resists, right? So you're gonna need to make up those resists that you're not getting from a shield at all somewhere else. Not that I get resist on mine, I don't, but I should. And anyway, I don't know why I'm I totally am acting like I'm in Nightmare, and I'm not. We need to just find the portal. There it is. You can see it on the map from rather far away. Because, of course, all we're here for is the leg. This is the riveting stuff here. Anyway, look, I'm rusty. I haven't been playing all day. I only played at the beginning of the day, and then I had to, like, you know, be an adult. Such as it is. But now I'm back to the good part of being an adult, playing Diablo 2 again. Alright, and we can go ahead and swap to our magic find gear, such as it is. Not for the mana, though. You know, it doesn't put us at a lot, but I mean, we are at some. A little bit on a ring, a little bit on the gauntlets. 30 on the neck is not terrible. And, you know, there you go. Now, what we're hoping for here is, like, a soul or a shale rune. But there's a bunch in here that we need. There are a lot of solid rune words to go for. Because we could also, what I probably want is this rune word called Insight, which gives meditation on your mark, so like infinite mana. But then you can get another one called Strength to give him Crushing Blow until we can get it to him some other way. But, you know, there's plenty of time for that, or we'll die, and that'll never happen. But you got to prepare for success. Speaking of, let's get some cows. We are entering the Moo Moo Farm. And they are mooing most gracefully. This just takes me back, right? Like, what in life defines me more than the cow level? Like, nothing but great memories, except for all the bad ones about people taking my drops. The bad thing, and it is kind of bad, about 3-socket breastplate, yeah, we'll hold on to that. About having the cows is they very, very much resemble the actual cows on account of having the same model, which is like the problem with revives, right? They look they look exactly like the mobs that they are, and they move relentlessly. I swear it's human voices. I should know this, but I just feel like it is, right? Like, I feel like these are all humans that were making moo sounds, like, in what must have been the funniest day ever at work. We need more keys. It basically only happens here that you need more keys. There's a lot of lock chests in the cow level. Normally, look, you're not supposed to care, right? You're just supposed to be like, oh, whatever, I don't have keys. But I have superstitions. And I'm willing to give up lots of them. But if you notice a chest in the cow level, you should try to open it. You know, it's what you're here for. That and for the soothing moo sounds. Oh, we got another one. Because while you could theoretically get a fire golem, I just believe that it's never right, and the clay golem is the only one that matters. We don't need lower resist or confuse or attract. Do we just go straight mastery now? I think so, right? Yeah. We could get 1 point in wall, but I feel like it'd be more likely to hurt me than not. Anyway. And of course, Skeleton Mastery is going to improve their life and damage, but not how long they're out, so. A good one. And here, you know, in the oh yeah, the keys. I forgot the keys. I don't think she sells them. She does, though. I don't have enough free space to do that. Outrageous. Chance to cast Chain Lightning on attack. Well, I actually kind of want that. You know, that's new. That's new, and I love it. I love procs. I had this paladin I built that was all about, like, you know, doing frozen orbs and lightning strikes and stuff that were surprising. Can I not hit the stash? There we go. Like, we already have a superior breastplate. We're just going to keep on holding on to it, right? Until I decide I don't need to do that anymore. And the moves intensify. Because if we could put together insight, the thing about having meditation is what I have to do all the time where I'm drinking the potions, doing that, you no longer have to do that. You only do that if the merc is dead. Otherwise, you know, mana potions are essentially irrelevant. 4-socket longsword, 3 is useless to me. And also, longsword has the dex requirement that wouldn't be good. But We are, if we can get another soul rune, which I probably should have saved to try to make a spirit, although I didn't have a base for it, we can get a very good one-hander rune word called spirit that's sort of like the be-all end-all. We're around the Cow King. We shouldn't be here. Let's get on out. I thought I bought those keys. But now I remember that I didn't have space. You know, sure, it's not good, but it could have been. You have to believe. I'm not picking up the antlers. Why? I mean, they could be worth money, but look, even though money is very useful, it's also useful to like have a brisk clip when you're moving through the world. Like you gotta balance everything. Are all these chests all low? Are my superstitions ruined? Why do I feel like I've gotten something good out of a chest before? Must have been because hell cows. Hey. And an ord, most excellent indeed. We absolutely need one of those. And with a mighty moo, they all falls down. But I basically consider getting an ord to be a great success because we need at least one and maybe like 3 of them, right? For the things that we want to build. Because runewords are, I mean, they're the most reliable way to get a character up and running in a way where you can like really feel the power. The furious moves. The Cow King is like over there somewhere. If you see lightning bolts, probably him, probably leave, right? That's the rule. It's not so bad when you're by yourself because like the chances of you accidentally popping them, if you know you're not supposed to, relatively low. And people can't do it to you, you know, if they're not here. Cows is like so cozy because they're incredibly predictable, right? And so too is the environment. And while they could theoretically have like pack mods, there's not that many uniques in the zone ever, and the Cow King is to be avoided anyway. And you can kind of tell when you're going to be Alright, well... Like, what did I do? How did I end up there? Oh, because we looped around to the front of it. But yeah, very sketchy indeed. The Cow King much more low than I would have preferred. I don't think he was in real danger of dying, but the thing about doing a corpse explosion is, especially if you get fast casts, which we don't have right now. I was like, oh, I about freaked out. I saw a unique thing. It was Grey Touch the Cold. The Cow King is always lightning enchanted, so you can know. I don't think they ever changed it where you needed to not spike him. Maybe they did. It's too bad it was a Chris and not a dagger. The unique dagger has 100 magic find, which would be actually, potentially quite nice. The Jade Tundle. That's right, the poison one. Now this is actually a very interesting dagger. It requires 45 dex, so we can't wear it. But, like, say you want to fight Andariel, right? Well, if you just put this on, you're going to have gigantic poison resist, so you can sort of solve that problem. Of course, you have to be level 19 to get it, but, for Nightmare or whatever, we will put it in here. Maybe one day I'll make a sorceress, and then we can wear that. Why would I have dex? Don't worry about it. We're going to put it in there. I like collecting things. The ring, we already have a rare ring with cold resist on it, actually. So that one is just worse. Whoops. But I guess the difference when we go to fight Mephi this time is our Merc is going to be much punchier and bigger resisting. The Tremors show signs of slowing. Oh no, can we get there in time? Should we be here? I mean, we'll be fine. Yeah, it's all good. We'll probably get to Mephisto and then not kill him in time. This is up. Alright. That means we're expecting cross. Not down and right, but cross. That's what we're expecting. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, right? Oh, those are champs we are not running through. I need to get over here. And then up, totally cross position. Should be good, I think. Nope, not so far. Can't go in there, can go here. Oh, shows what I know. Could it have been down there and then down and to the right? Maybe. I have to check. Yeah, so corruption is all but dissipated. Well, I don't think we're going to get him in time. Hey, Neo, how's it going? Well, you know, I guess we can just... I mean, it's worth killing Mephisto if we've already come this far, even if it's not a souped-up one. Definitely looks like it's gonna... Man, I, gotta admit, I'm disappointed in myself. Normally, you would assume it to be a cross. You would. You would never go clockwise. If you found Durance 1 like there, you would go just the entire way across. Is it really going to be right here? No, what? Alright, so we could actually go and pop the Countess, but we're already here, so we're going to do this. Now, this is like a whole different dynamic than the last time we were here. We have summon resist. We didn't even have that then. We're popping everything. We're just going to run in, kill Mephi. Going to be, I mean, not like a cakewalk, but fine. And then we'll go do a Countess run and then get over there. Because, yes, you can definitely see that we've beaten 2 acts since the last time we were here. They're not as fearsome as they used to be. We're just going to amp on Mephi. I bet we'll be fine. Oh, yeah, look at that. Look at him. Oh no, I woke up some other guys. Yeah, look at them. But hey, you know, gets it done. Easy peasy, just as planned. Don't get anything good. That's alright. I mean, we could theoretically have better splint mail than that. It's not super good, that mail. The light belt we've already got one of. Right? Yeah, we've already got one. I told him we've already got one. But yeah, let's go hit up the little Terra Countess. You know, we're still happy to go get runes in a way that's... Oh, Great Marsh, not Black Marsh. Well, in that case, let's go to Nightmare. We beat, like, Blood Raven earlier, you know, but didn't, like, really get in. But we're just gonna hit Cold Plains Waypoint and keep on trucking. Nope, Stony Field, actually. Alright, yeah, I guess we got that one, too. That's right, I remember, vaguely. We'll just get a kill real quick. They've got Fanat there. That's not great to see, but... We'll just feed him one of those, and then get a skeleton, and then get a skeleton. And now he's dead. Alright, let's not try to kill fanaticism guys to get skellies. We can still be here. Let's just not go to the... Oh, Rakinishu. Great. Alright. It'll be alright if we just get a couple of skeletons up, which we now have achieved. Oh, we're going to be able to get, like, Dark Ranger revives. That's going to be sweet. Alright, who's giving them Fanat, and where can we hit them? There she is. Like, no, this one particularly, that one. There we go. Amazing. Poison, it's not like crazy high. It's not comfortable either. Let's get some of these archers, eh? Alright, now that we've got this whole crew together, let's fight Rakanishu and see how many of them you can kill in one moment. Rakanishu is a total menace. It's many a player who's looked at his hilarious name and his silly little blue body and thought, oh, that guy won't kill me. Wrong. Wrong, he totally will. And you get sort of like inured to him running cows, but like every now and again he'll just like actually pop you before you go in. Which is embarrassing. Oh yeah, we should definitely get this ring mail. We're in Nightmare. Is it finally time to carry a tome of identity? I mean, maybe. At a certain point you start, because at a certain point you start seeing more stuff. Oh, that reminds me, I'm wearing Magic Find gear. I don't want to do that. I love that. Do not. I mean, our regular gear isn't tons better, but, like, I'd just rather have it. Because there's still a negative fire resist, but we didn't get really help there. But 47... lightning is not that relevant for Act 1, but it'll save us from unlucky lightning resists. It's about sending a message. Nah, too much. Defense lost. Come with me if you want to live for 3 minutes. I've always wanted there to be a way to make the revives last longer, but that's, you know, that's what the Warlock class does now, and in such a cool way. Sometimes I'm thinking, I'm like, man, I love this Necro, but maybe I should be playing Warlock, because they've got to eventually nerf it. It's too much fun. No one in the world deserves to have that much fun, and so they're going to take it away eventually. You know, maybe I should have done it. But I already played, you know, like, through Nightmare with the busted one. Not on hardcore, but it's just so broke. Whoops. Just straight running into stones. Alright, how close was I? You know, it's funny and, like, hilariously annoying. When you get, like, an experienced shrine, which is really good, you know, it's like it's a noticeable chunk more experience when you're rocking it, like, it's great. And then you see another one. I mean, you don't want to, like, come back. That takes forever. Poison resist Grand Charm is not worth carrying around. All right. Underground right here. Yep. The underground passage usually spawns on a wall, but I don't know the percentage. Not like super rarely, but you'll see it like this, where it's just sort of like it looks like a normal cave out in the middle of the running space, but always a little surprising. Not a great shock. The carvers are yelling their little yells. Steel Claw, Spectral, and Fire. It's not too bad. Spectral hit is like a enchanted elemental strike that they have. And fire elemental, same thing. Fire enchanted means that they blow up in a little haze of fire when they get popped, and they have fire damage on their attacks. The explosion from a fire enchant blowing up, while like it hurts a bit, it's not like super bonkers, and also they get higher resistances. The cold nova from a cold enchanted creature, that one is significantly more hazardous to the old health. And lightning enchants, exude lightning every time you hit them. Fire resist is not really about mitigating fire damage from fire enchanted creatures, but rather fire spells, which are pretty ubiquitous, right? And which is rather contrasted by cold resist, which is looked at as like a less important one. Cold resist, it's really just the novas, and there's a couple of mobs in the game that have ice spells, but they're quite few and far between, even in the icy tundras of Act 5. You're more likely to run into problems with other elements like fire and lightning. Whereas lightning enchanted is both very dangerous, and so lightning enchanted I would call like a principal worry for death later on. Like lightning resist is super important, but also because of gloams and burning souls and that whole thing. Because you can't really always tell how many of them there are, and you can't hide behind your guys. So if you don't have very, very big HP pools plus lightning resists, that can be a game ender. But we're just gonna try to remember that I know all this and not make any careless mistakes ever. It could happen. These guys are cursed at least. At some point I'm going to need to learn to play with the keyboard and mouse again, because it's really important to be able to check mods. And we, basically can't here, right? We get... You run around and then... if the game wants to show you a different creature over the top, like extra strong, extra strong. See, that's fine for right now. Extra strong in Nightmare and extra strong in Hell are different animals, right? And what if they were, some other nasty thing? It's fine. We'll be fine. I'll just have to learn how to do it again. I am classically trained. It should come right back to me. This is a pretty easy tunnel, right? We're not getting like any archers in it. We instead got the Mishapens, which are not a problem, and we have good lightning resist. So even if and then we've got regular rangers. So excellent, a total dodge on archers here feels good. War Spear is Zahn, right? No. Well, embarrassing that I don't remember. You know, there's all sorts of stuff I don't remember. It'll all come back. Yeah, see that the lightning bolts, they might hit for like 100 normally, right? Because ours took it down to 50-ish. Not pushovers, but compared to the archers, they can really... Might as well. The longer you wait, the more annoying it is. We have too much junk in our inventory, but look, it's all part of the system, right? Being inconvenienced when you come to town is a small price to pay for life. Wait, I sold a life charm? Oh, no. I was saving that for later. Look, 11 life is not good enough to take up 3 inventory slots, but we're going to allow it to be, because I don't want to die. At some point, I'm going to look down, and it's going to say 10 HP. I'll try not to swear about it, and then I'll remember this exact thing that I said. I'll be like, look at me. Looking out for me. There is a level 2 there with a gold chest. I don't often feel like it's worth trying to find it. The thing about Nightmare is if you can just push forward a couple more things, right, you start getting more density, and if you can get to Countess, then that's what you should do, right? If you can safely run Nightmare Countess, because that is going to open up power and safety and happiness, right? As fun as normal cows is. And Countess is significantly less fun to go to. With teleport, a Countess run is gorgeous, right? You just run in, Nova or down or whatever. It's great. Without teleport, there are walls. Cold Enchanted, so we want to keep our distance to avoid that. Which we have 16 cold resist, you know, what I would call technically some. Fanatics are very dangerous champs. They move faster, hit harder, hit more accurately, swing more often. Regular champs are like the baseline champions. Every other kind of champ is more dangerous than they are. Possessed champs are very dangerous too. You can't curse them. They're very resistant to physical damage. They're real tanky. Hello, awesome guy. You just recently found out you love reading sad poems. Nice. Me too. I didn't recently discover it for me, but I too love sad poems. Extra strong mana burn, extra strong dead. And now we've got big Yetis on our side. Ooh, Sharkskin Belt. It basically doesn't matter what it has. This has all the slots we want. But do we lose 19 mana for that? Yes, we absolutely do. Belt slots are everything. Let's go ahead and get Kane. Oh. Do I really have to talk to the person about it? Yes, I do. Anything good? 450k for that. Alright, all this is garbage. Cool. I'm doing alright. You're trying to see if water's actually wet. Well, this is one of those fun conversations that depends on definitions, right? My usual hair-splitting answer is that being wet is the quality that a thing has when it is in contact with water. It is not a quality of water. Right? Water makes a thing that, but water isn't. You're wet when you get in the ocean. The ocean's just the ocean. But in truth, it's just a matter of definitions, which is why those things are fun, you know. Doors are wheels. Back in the day, they used to sit around and say, how could you set wand? Sanders? Alright, I have it with me. The torch, that's right. Well, I already have a Necro Wand. Well, we'll hold on to it. It's possible the set would be wearable. I don't remember what it does. I frankly don't really remember this. Oh, the cranium. I remember that. Okay. There's so many items in this game that are just like not desirable, so you just don't pick them up. Tristram's really good XP. Pretty dangerous mobs overall. I don't know. You know, and this is fun. This is what the whole point of these little fun little hair splitting conversations are, right? I mean, cannot a knife create blood? And yet a knife does not bleed. Would we call bloodiness an aspect of a knife? Or something that a knife creates in contact with a sufficient thing that could get it? After all, water doesn't make fire wet. You know, and so on. Yeah. Perspective, what we would call in high school debate whenever I was in it, topicality, which is just you rigidly define all the words and that are involved, so you can't have a conversation like this. If you ever read like a law that's written half well, in the U.S. anyway, and I imagine in most places, they'll define most of the things they say in it. They'll be like, you know, robbery is a felony, and then they'll define what robbery is, and then if they say aggravated robbery is whatever, they'll tell you what that means, and so on, because the idea is that, you know, you got to be specific enough to let somebody make a good judgment about things. And that's what water being wet is all about, right? Because if the person asking that defines it clearly enough, then you can say, okay, by that definition, yes, it is. Or no, it isn't. But these conversations are not really about whether or not water is wet, right? They're about the fun of engaging in this very low stakes conversation in a way that lets you sort of feel a little bit around creatively about how the other person thinks and how they respond to you responding, right? You know, because there's a lot of ways to disagree with people when actually, like, people do emotionally feel about it. And I guess you could upset somebody by saying the water isn't wet. You know, is the sky blue and so on? What even is color? Do people see it? That's different, because qualia, right, that's a gentleman's topic of conversation. That one's not like some lowbrow thing. Qualia is excellent. Qualia is like the fancy philosophy word for like the concept of like thingness. Let me define it further. So like the classic example in Qualia is like, how do you know that the red that I see is the red that you see? Accepting colorblind people and so on, right? Like when we look at the tree and say that's a green tree, you know, how do we know that we're seeing the same thing? And in truth, we probably aren't, because like every person, you know, is an island unto themselves. But and that's why I say it's like the gentleman's version of it, because this is like important, you know, philosophical stuff. And since we're on the topic, there's another like thing in like sort of qualia discussions called philosophical zombies or P zombies, right? So imagine like qualia is like, so think of perceiving qualia as being like, you can go through the world and you see red because you've got whatever it is that lets you see red, right? Okay, like everybody else. But imagine someone was out there that lacked qualia, that thought they were seeing red but didn't see red at all, right? That's a P zombie. People that could theoretically not tap into what everybody else sees. Someone who says, oh, the sky is blue today, but when they look at it, they don't see what all of us do. But anyway, it's spelled Qualia, and it's a lot of fun. And people actually like really get into it. People like, you know, philosophers and stuff, which I am not one. You say I managed to convince you. Well, I hope that I can convince anyone willing to listen that most arguments are more complicated than you would think when you first hear about them. No, I like whenever I was a kid, I would often annoy people. You know, they would be trying to, you know, convince me of something or another, and I would just, you know, pretend to be Socrates and ask them a bunch of questions about it, and then at the end they'd be like, "You're making me feel like I don't know what I'm talking about." I'm like, "Well, okay, I'm just 7 though, so." But these are sort of conversations that have like always delighted me and annoyed the people that were around. So whenever people want to have them, I'm always pleased. Do, 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 do. A monster shrine. Okay. A halberd. Promising. We need a 4-socket one. That's... Why couldn't it have sockets? So a gray weapon like that means it's ethereal. Do I hold on to it and burn a socket in? No, not for that. Shame. Ethereal weapons and armor cannot be repaired, but they're significantly more powerful than their base variants, right? So they degrade over time, and so they're stronger. But on your mercenary, they don't take durability damage ever, so they're just strictly better. And we are going to hunt down the Countess. Now we just got to be careful to be moving like in a semi-intelligent way here. We don't want to be diving into doors and stuff. And when it comes to the Countess herself, we'll just have to navigate it clumsily because we don't have fire resist. There's a bunch of potential fire there. Is this a Souls game? No, this is a Diablo game. I'm playing on hardcore mode, so there's permanent death, and I lose all of the stuff that I'm wearing and like that I'm carrying. But you don't have to play that way, and I would say most people don't. I generally, you know, I play a mix of both. I'm not like great at it, but I've been playing this game a super long time. This was one of my favorite games in high school and college back, 25 years ago when it came out. Yeah, well, I haven't died yet. This character hasn't died yet. I've definitely died in Diablo before. Yeah, the thing is that it's worse than that. In Diablo, you can die so very fast. Ooh, interesting. Alright. 2198 and prevent monster heal to drop the knockback. Are we good? Yeah. Like, I knew I was safe around the wall because there wasn't anything on this floor that could do it. But there you go. Okay, so I am a Skelemancer. I'm a summoning necromancer, so I have a lot of skeletons, and that's my whole thing. And then I can do what's called a corpse explosion, which is exactly what it sounds like. And that's principally how we do our thing. Now, the cold damage, not that important. Prevent monster heal, unlikely to matter. I mean, 25% on the top end is probably worth the knockback. We could put an F into it anyway. Yeah. So we kill everything. See, yes. When we leave the town, there's no good guys except, 4 or 5, and they barely talk to you. And the game won't let you kill them anyway. Hold on to this for a level 18 mark? Maybe. We're friends with an angel. The skeletons work for us. We're not friends. I like the skeletons. Our character doesn't really care about them at all. That's like, necromancers are not emotional about their little charges. But I like them. I think they're adorable. But yeah, there are, there's an overarching story, which I think is quite interesting. But like right now, which there's a book that you can read that tells you about this place, and then that sends you on the way to this forgotten tower. So it's like, okay, this person bathed in people's blood. That's pretty bad. And then there's a tower, and that there's supposed to be a fortune here, so there you find a book that tells you that, and now you pursue down here. So the Countess drops runes, which you use to create items when you put them in specific orders into like weapons or armor. and she has the single best chance to drop them in the game. She basically always drops one or two, and they can be pretty good eventually or sometimes. So running a lot of Countess is a normal thing you do, because the game's procedurally generated, but once you kill, like if you are targeting a specific run, you just make a new game and do it all over again. That's the way you play Diablo. A lot of people find it boring. It's changed somewhat with some new leveling of enemies that they've put in on this recent patch. But I would say everyone maybe left because this character is a reference to the human Countess Bathory, who was said to have engaged in a number of various depredations, a lot of like what we would think of as like tropes associated with vampire myths, vampiric myths, are like often associated with Bathory. So like yeah, but the bathing in the blood, that's a Countess Bathory thing, and when you see it in media, it's usually a reference to that, even if it doesn't go any further than they wanted to make a reference to it, and that's why that's the story here. Usually the rumor is that they think it's going to keep them young. This game is named Diablo 2. I have not stopped speaking English. Vampire. You know, in French, vampire is spelled vampire, but they say it vampire. Unless they don't. It's definitely spelled the same way, though. Because I have this Magic the Gathering card. He's a vampire knight. And in English, it would have been like $60. I used to have one, but I gave him to my nephew when he was cheaper. And then I wanted another one, so I bought a French one because he was only 30. But all the words on it are in French, which I don't speak or pronounce. I'd be like, he says vampire et chevalier. I believe that means he's a vampire knight. Which annoys everybody because they know that that's definitely what it means, because we all know what the card does. Exactly. Alright, did we have sockets? 2. That's actually... Is that really the strength requirements of a halberd? We can hold on to it because strength is theoretically a thing. Strength is a rune word where you can get a mechanic called crushing, or a stat called crushing blow. It's a two-letter rune word. Crushing blow is just what it sounds like. It does a percentage of the boss's health. That is a hilarious way to spell baguette, and I love it. I guess we'll hold on to them and then sell them or something. That was like 100 damage for being in the fire for a tick. We gotta chill on that. Hey, a tier rune, that's nice. Make up the game to simulate So the thing about Diablo 2 is it came out an incredibly long time ago. It doesn't feel modern, right? It doesn't, and it probably never will. If you play, like, one of the more recent Diablo games, or like Path of Exile, which I didn't play extensively, but I know people that have, like, game Diablo 2 loomed very large in gaming culture and stuff 25 years ago. When it came out, it was like an earthquake. A lot of people were very influenced by it, but they also learned a lot of lessons from things that it didn't do quite as well, right? A bunch of abilities that nobody can use, overly restrictive like builds where a whole lot of stuff just was never good, things like that. And so other games sort of got to learn against that lesson. Oh, lots of teeth? Yeah, that's just a normal thing. I mean, it's a game about demons coming into the world. It's very gruesome. I mean, like, a lot of the backgrounds are incredibly harsh. Scenes of torture and all sorts of stuff of that nature. It's very bleak, though, the world that we're in here. It's like, even if we just look around here, it's like you see just random stuff on the walls. It's all decayed. But actually, the decorations here aren't nearly as bad as in some of the later places in the game, even though the Countess is bonkers. Yeah, because the name is named for Diablo, who is, the Lord of Hell. And through the game, we're trying to keep him from being reborn, but actually, we're too late. And they got this little blood fountain thing here. There's your... basically the only internal very strong decoration that harkens to the little the story here. Telly and Lightning enchanted again. Interesting. No one ever uses Vidalia's Barb. I mean, maybe you could. I think a regular bow with a bunch of sockets is better. Alright, so what we want to do right now... Actually, she hasn't cast a firewall on the door yet, which is super good. And then just get... I would... honestly, like... You just blow everything up. You just stab things, like you just shoot them with arrows, or I mean, everybody's different, right? But I would think in general, the Countess didn't do... She's supposed to do firewalls when you get in. Nice. So here we see that she drops 3 runes for us. And then the first time you get here, you get your quest reward, which is her treasure chest giving you stuff. But she drops the runes every time. But yeah, no, it's more that, like, the stories are, like, about things that are awful, rather than, like, the game. I wouldn't consider Diablo, like, a scary game, although it has very dark themes. Like, because, I mean, how do you say that a whole bunch of dead bodies aren't scary, right? Well, in the context of Diablo, they just aren't. Whereas in the context of maybe a different game, coming across just one might be very horrifying. But this game, it's very normal, for lack of a better word. So I wouldn't think that it's too scary of a game, although, you know, it's possible that, like, you'll wake up at night thinking that Mephisto's about to get you with a lightning bolt. Yeah, I mean, like, it's a messed up game in a messed up world, but it's, you know, nothing happens to your character, you know, like, if you die, you come right back. No, you're good, man. I mean, after all, I was the one who just said, after all, hundreds of dead bodies aren't really much, are they? And I meant it, too. We need the Black Marsh waypoint. No, I always think, like, if someone is deeply disturbed, they probably wouldn't like me much because I'm, like, so obviously vain and want so much attention, and they would want it too. And they would, you know, that would make them not like me. They would be like, that guy clearly is too full of himself, right? You know, this really should all be about me. But that is just one of the reasons why somebody might not like me. There are many good ones. We don't have to list them all now. You can pick your favorite one. Sandwich Hill guy. You know, it's so nice that I am able to give people that impression. No, like I say all the time, you guys see me at my best. Don't like, it doesn't matter what you think about me, right? Like, I don't mean it to come out like that, but like, I just don't want people to get some impression of me that like that I'm like a nice and considerate person when I'm like really vain and inconsiderate and like just a jerk all the time. This is the only format where I can talk to people well, is like over a computer. Later, awesome guy. Yeah, consider it. Like I don't care about other people very much. I don't think they're very interesting most of the time, and I do occasionally even tell them so, which is super rude. I would say I'm working on it, but I'm not. I'm just, like I said, like I'm not a very nice person. I try not to worry about it too much. Stay out of the public, and that way it doesn't bother anyone. I don't want to go down here. Nope, 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 nope. That's a bad mob set. We're gonna... I think we're gonna run Countess again a time or two. Yeah, I still need a soul. I'm gonna buy some guy. I don't mean to contradict you. Basically, anytime somebody says something nice about me, I have to argue with them about it, though. It's not a good character trait. But later. I'm probably not gonna be going on. Oh, it's almost 1 a.m. Yeah, I need to be ending now as well. Well, let's see if we can get Cloister first, since we've already cleared all of this. Just gotta stay in motion here. And let the bodies hit the floor. I think she's cold enchanted. We want to keep our distance here. Nope. Oh, there are two of them. Spectral hit. Cloister's always up. Always, always up. There you go. What an interesting general map, though, right? Upper wall to Tabo Highland to immediate curve up, but Cloister's always up. Has to be. Another towel. Can never have enough of those. Each of the spines does like 50 damage because it took off my whole bone armor. What could we make now? Yeah, we need a soul for insight. Need a shale for rhyme, which would be great. Health Lord M for a spirit, but I don't think I have a base. Because I could make one now. I can actually make strength also. Won't mess with us, and then we can just do this one right now. Not a lot of damage, but hey, you know, it's not a good base. If it ends up feeling bad, then I'll feel bad for wasting the rune, but and they're almost all magic here. One thing you can do is pick one up before now. Yeah, it's got to be a 4-second sword, which I already knew. Well, Cal's hoping for a crystal sword as a way, because the spirit would really make this whole build better. Oh well. Alrighty then. You know, we getting there. Level 36, decent clip. Certainly getting right to where you can't get experience from cows anymore, but running Nightmare Countess is a better move anyway. Although we just need a spirit base. It's such a good rune word, we're unlikely to find anything better, but we gotta look for an insight base also. We'll find them, we just gotta keep an eye. And those two things will really let us get a lot more powerful. You know, a couple runes, couple items, pretty soon we'll be off to the races. Or dead of something stupid. That's what that's the fun part, right? Well, that's all I've got for you right now. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you've enjoyed. And maybe I'll see you in the next streamer video. So, see you guys later, awesome guy.